Hi, my name is Jefferson Mill, and today for my class project, I am going to be talking about the dangers of misinformation. To start off, let us talk about the infamous day, also known as January 6, 2021. Now, normally on January 6th, uh, and in the year after a November election, there is an event known as the certification of election results. On this day, members of Congress from all 50 states gather within the House chamber along with the Vice President to certify the results of the 2020 presidential election. In the 2020 presidential election, the two major opponents was at the time President Donald Trump of the Republican Party and Joe Biden, the candidate from the Democratic Party. This procedure is supposed to confirm that Joe Biden beat at the time President Donald Trump and is set to become the 46th president of the United States on January 20th, about 2 weeks later. This procedure was supposed to go on as planned, with the vice president verifying all the results from all 50 states. However, this election is unique in which the Donald Trump's rhetoric has been very, very inflammatory and very, very controversial. Donald Trump has, for months, has been using that rhetoric, arguing that the election is rigged against him, and that no matter what the election results say, unless it shows that he has won, his supporters should not accept the results at hand. In fact, while the certification of the results was happening, Donald Trump held a political rally just just south of the Capitol, to encourage his supporters to support him through while he faces litigation in the course of the results. However, due to the rhetoric that he used in his speech, some may argue that he that Donald Trump himself inspired some others to go and try to interrupt the certification process in order to ensure that he is president when come January 20th. This is what eventually happened. Trump supporters were able to get through the initial perimeter of set up by Capitol Police and were able to get just right up to the front steps of the Capitol. The Capitol Police did their best to hold them back and even called in the National Guard for support. However, National Guard was not able to get to them in time, and Trump's supporters were able to breach the outer steps of the Capitol, and even enter the Capitol. Many supporters got very close to the representatives certifying the election results. However, all representatives were evacuated in a timely and orderly fashion. However, in the end, the damage was done. Four fellow Trump supporters had died during the incident, including one from a gunshot wound. Three Capitol officers died in the wake of these events, and and representatives and President Trump's lives were forever changed that day as a result. And this is all due to the rhetoric that Trump has been uh, pro- progressing all throughout this time. That that the election was rigged against him. So, what is misinformation? According to Merriam Webster, the definition of misinformation is incorrect or misleading information. Now, there are, according to the Shawnee State University Library, there are 6 forms of misinformation that we should keep out for. The 6 are fabricated content, manipulated content, imposter content, misleading content, false context of connection, and satire and parody. Fabricated content is content that is completely false or entirely made up. An example that I would like to show here is a tweet that someone put out saying how Hillary, during the 2016 presidential election, allowed her supporters to vote by text. However, this is completely false, as there is no way to complete in order to vote properly by text message. Therefore, this ends up fabricated content. Manipulated content is the distortion of genuine information or imagery. For example, here, um, it is shown that Prince William possibly may have held up a middle finger. However, as you can see in the other picture, that is not the case. However, the angle in which that the picture was taken manipulated what could have been done. Misleading content is the misleading use of information, for example, as presenting comments as fact. A great example of this would be all of the Facebook groups that have thousands of people commenting, that and some people treating those comments as fact, even though comments are merely one's own opinion. Imposter content is the impersonation of genuine stories, uh, for example, by using the branding of an established news agency. So a great example of this would be someone clipping something that has been said on either Fox News or CNN or any other news network, and putting it out of context in order to perceive it as, um, while they're saying one thing instead of actually getting the whole picture. And false context and connection and satire and parody can go together hand on hand. They are kind of like how these types of works manipulate uh, kind of like news for comedy. A great example of this is Daily Show with Trevor Noah. Daily Show and Trevor Noah acts as a satire for news, how the 24-hour news cycle. However, some of his comedy can be treated as fact by accident, and therefore he could mislead people through his actions alone. So, how did we get to this era of mass information? Well, one area to look at is the rise in mass media. Um, Over the years, and news organizations such as CBS, NBC, and ABC have grown in their size and their popularity. Uh, for example, uh, for example, CBS and NBC have been around for about 100 years now. So over time they have become a lot a lot part of the American zeitgeist. However, a lot of things changed within those 100 years. For example, during the 1980s, the what it was known at the time as the Fairness Doctrine, passed by the FCC, was that news organizations were forced to cover both sides of a topic, such as climate change, where they would cover a more liberal side of the conversation and a more conservative side of the conversation. However, in the 1980s, President Ronald Reagan decided to get rid of that provision, therefore making each news network having the ability to present news in however form they want. This led to the rise in the 24-hour news networks such as Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN, where they were able to present their views on a consistent daily basis and present the news in however form that they want. This 24-hour type of news cycle exhausted many Americans, as they are ended up feeling tired of hearing the constant bombardment of news all the time. This is where social media comes in. Social media provides an alternative to the 24-hour news cycle, as it provides, in a way, almost alternative facts. For example, apps such as Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook can provide a source of entertainment outside of news, such as checking what's popular in today's society, what's the latest fashion trends, who are the famous it people right now. However, the danger of social media is that a lot of times things that are honestly opinions or editorials could be accidentally be presented as facts. For example, there are a lot of Facebook groups out there that spread conspiracy theories based on one's own opinions and or beliefs. However, given the fact that these groups are well organized and full of people that share the same beliefs, these groups end up becoming echo chambers, and therefore people start to believe in what they hear from those groups. At the end of the day, both the mass media, what an average person sees both on the news and on social media, does have a great impact on who they are, as they begin to shape their beliefs around what is presented to them and what policies they support based on those beliefs. So it is important that not only the user trusts their sources, but also make sure that their sources are accurate in what they are reporting. So, to connect it to current events, two conspiracy theories um, that have a major impact on our society today are QAnon and anti-vax. Before I get to them, let me give you the definition of a conspiracy theory. So, the definition of a conspiracy theory is a theory that explains an event or circumstances as the result of a secret plot by usually powerful conspirators. So, both the QAnon and anti-vax conspiracy theories both have like this, they're at its very core, this concept. Okay. For example, the QAnon theory is a conspiracy theory where centered around powerful Democratic politicians. So, according to USA Today, the conspiracy theory is based on unfounded claims that there is a deep state apparatus run by political elites, business leaders, and Hollywood celebrities who are also pedophiles and actively working against President Donald Trump. However, it is also believed that Donald Trump was elected with the sole purpose of saving the world from this group of pedophiles and cannibals. QAnon has been able to infiltrate all walks of life as many supporters come from all over the country and socioeconomic background. In fact, it has even influenced American politics as according to USA Today, at least 19 Republican congressional candidates have been linked to QAnon, and some did win in the November elections, such as Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene out of Georgia and Lauren Boebert of Colorado. And this conspiracy theory even goes up to the top with President Donald Trump himself using his personal Twitter account to retweet QAnon related media hundreds of times. This is despite the fact that many political leaders across the political spectrum condemned this conspiracy theory, and the FBI labeled the conspiracy theory as a domestic terrorism threat even before the insurrection. Now, the QAnon theory is related to insurrection as the QAnon conspiracy theorists as a group decided that along with Trump's rhetoric, that they truly believed that the election was rigged against President Donald Trump, and they were going to do whatever it takes to ensure that the election was fair and that Donald Trump won in the end. Now, another conspiracy theory that is very important for the time is the anti vax conspiracy theory. This is important as right now the country is trying to return to normal with the introduction of the COVID-19 vaccine. However, there is a large portion of the population that is unwilling to get the vaccine um, because of their hesitancy to do so and what they hear about these anti vax conspiracy theories. So, according to Nature.com, scientists have determined that certain claims to be the most harmful against the message of the COVID-19 vaccine, ranging from conspiracy theories that the pandemic was engineered to control society or hospital profits, or that the vaccines are risky and unnecessary. However, this this is not true as the COVID-19 vaccine has been tested rigorously by each company and has met this criteria in order to be emergency authorized by the FDA and CDC themselves. Now, how in with relation to these two theories, they impact our society today because they impact how other people who don't believe in the conspiracy live. For example, QAnon has been a disruptor in many families' lives, and anti vaxxers may prevent um, America from truly reopening, as a good portion of the population may not end up being vaccinated, which is a risk for all Americans overall. So, what are some solutions that we can do to prevent the spread of misinformation? Well, one is banning accounts. By banning accounts, you prevent the spread of misinformation by getting rid of it off social media platforms. For example, Facebook has done so, claiming at a recent congressional hearing that they banned 1.3 billion accounts from October 2020 to December 2020, claiming that these accounts engage in misinformation. Another famous example, as shown here in the picture, is that Donald Trump's uh, Twitter account was suspended in the wake of the insurrection, as he used his Twitter account reportedly to support the insurrectionists and also spread misinformation. Another thing that internet companies have been doing is pushing their users towards more accredited sources, for example, such as the CDC. They hope that by pushing their users towards more accredited sources, that they are more able to get more accurate information and hopefully avoid falling into the traps that could appear on their platforms, such as from either political pundits giving alternative information, or people just misrepresenting facts. However, what experts argue what is most important is education. Uh, Teaching the Americans or anyone in general to identify misinformation is important, as anything can be be misinformation if it's not reported accurately, or if the person reporting it has a bias, whether intentional or unintentional. So it's really important that everyone recognizes the power that misinformation has and hopefully avoid it. To conclude, I would like to end with these two pictures. So on January 6th, due to Trump's rhetoric of how the election was rigged and the belief that many of these reporters had that the election was rigged, the Capitol was stormed. However, when the Capitol stormed, it did not change the election results. 2 weeks later, Joe Biden was still sworn in as our president. While while this situation could have been entirely avoided, or the results never changed, this shows how the power of misinformation came this close to overthrowing a democracy. I hope that our society learns from this event and not only counter those that wish to do us harm with the spread of misinformation, but also do more to educate our public about how powerful misinformation can be and what can we do to stop it within our own families, within our own communities. My name is Jefferson O, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you.